It's mid-February here in Phoenix, and I wanted to do a quick video on how I get my ladybanks ready for blooming in the spring. So I have a couple of other videos on my channel that show my ladybanks blooming, and I think it looks beautiful when it blooms. It's one of my favorite roses in my yard. It just looks very stunning when it gets covered in its gorgeous yellow little flowers. And in those videos I did get a couple of questions asking me how I get my ladybanks ready to bloom and ready for the spring season. So I did want to share with you just a short quick video of what I do to prep for my ladybanks. So although the ladybanks is called a rose, I don't really think of it as a traditional rose. So I do not do a hard cut back or something like that on my ladybanks. Instead, in the fall, the ladybanks here in Phoenix, it'll like to grow and grow a lot. These ladybanks are very hardy and love growing. So in the fall time, I kind of have to do 2 or 3 prunes post-summer to get it to shape up and to not look so crazy. And once it starts to move into winter here in Phoenix, the ladybanks will kind of hibernate in a way. It'll stop putting on new growth. So I just like to make sure that in the fall it's pruned up and shaped up, and then once it goes into like its hibernation mode in the winter, I don't touch it and I don't do anything to the ladybanks except water. So this whole time it is using its energy to put on new growth into the flowers, not into like new canes or shoots. So I don't want to cut or disturb the ladybanks because I want it to be covered in beautiful blooms. And that is what it's doing right now. I can start to see that it's got buds just kind of starting to blanket the ladybanks. So when I do cut the ladybanks in fall, all I'm really doing is kind of shaping it up into the way I want it to look. I do have a couple of other ladybanks in the yard that I have over pruned in the fall season, and I think if you're taking more than 3/4 off, it may be too much and it may not be it may not come back and bloom in the spring. So I just clean up the plant. I don't do like a hard cut back on the ladybanks. So that's it. That's all I do. I don't really do anything special for the ladybanks. Just keep it trimmed up and just be mindful not to overcut, over prune, and not to cut during the winter season because that's when it's trying to put on its new flowers and shoots. And in a month or so here, it's going to be covered in blooms, and it will be really exciting.